11th. Because at least I think so, because I don't think on the 10th that
I think I missed. I fucking
me
missed.
At like 11, so.
And he turned himself in on the 11th, right?
I thought so, yeah.
Okay. So again, we're just going to go through this so that we have a record of messages. Is that an accurate recording of that thread?
To my knowledge, yes.
And that makes sense. Looks like between September 10th and September 12th. Looks like the last day on this is September 12th.
Yes.
But it is killing him because it has the enchant, which is cool. But it can still kill them.
So, again, those messages covered from September 10th to the evening of September 11th. Now, September 11th, what time did you see Tyler on September 11th?
Yes.
When did you first see him on September 11th? So this is the day after the shooting?
Yeah, I saw him when I woke up. Like I said, he was up and around doing a lot of stuff around the house. And then I think I saw him after that message where I said I'll come home and say I'm doing laundry, because I didn't want him going to my parents' house right then when he said there was probably cops outside. So I went back home, and it was just him there, and I said bye to him, and then he drove off. So I just went back to my parents' house.
So he actually was he pacing? Was he just sitting down and relaxing?
No, he was walking around a lot.
Not sitting at home.
Mm-hmm.
And did you talk about what he had done?
Didn't go into detail.
I love this game. I'm having quite a lot of fun with it.
I just asked him in person if what he said was true the night before, and he said it was. He started crying a little bit and said he wishes he hadn't done it, and then kept going around and just doing stuff, I think, to keep himself busy or distracted or something.
Okay. Did he talk about what he was going to do next?
And then eventually said that he would talk to his parents or turn himself over.
Okay. And when you left, was that how you left, understanding that he was going to turn himself in or go to his parents' house?
Yeah, and I didn't really want to be at our apartment while any of that was happening, regardless of what went down.
Okay. Okay, before he came home, had you seen the press releases, any of the media on this?
I'd seen one Instagram link a friend of mine had sent in our group chat, but I hadn't really looked into it at all.
And have you seen the images that were released of the suspect?
I did the next day. I don't think I saw any on the chat.
I'm going to show you a couple of those images. Okay, I'm on the FBI's website. You can see the URL there at the top. This is some press release about this event. And here on the screen, you see this looks like there's 2 rows of 3 images.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recognize the person in these images?
I wouldn't say it with 100% certainty just because of camera quality, but that looks like him in terms of the shoes he's wearing, the sunglasses. I don't think I'd specifically seen him wearing that hat, but he was usually wearing a hat, and then jeans. So it definitely, especially the bottom, the last 2, definitely do look like him. Oh, they do look like Tyler Robinson.
And you talked about that with your friends, right?
Yeah, his friends. Yeah, I don't know if I talked. I don't remember if I talked about it with any of my friends. And then since I didn't have my phone after that for a while, and I still am not using social media, I don't know on my friends' end.
Okay. All right, I want to back up a little bit now. We've talked about September 10th, but let me get a little bit of context here. So, did you game with Tyler?
Yeah.
What kind of games?
Played some just kind of party games together, like anything that would be multiplayer with a group of friends. There was one game he really liked called Sea of Thieves, where you play as like a pirate, and you can fight against people, but most of it's just like fishing, fighting sharks, skeletons, kind of stuff. We played some co-op games where it's like you both have to work together to win in whatever way. Way back when I was just out of high school, when I first knew him online, we played some like shooting games together, but I didn't know him very well, so that was just when we had like a full friend group on to play, and he was someone that my friends invited.
Okay. Did you and he ever talk about politics?
He did more than me. I don't really keep up with politics very much. He'd usually talk about stuff he heard on the radio on his drive to work in like their work cars, since it sounds like their whole crew went in the same car most of the time. But I wouldn't say super consistently, because it wasn't a topic I really contributed much on.
What about Charlie Kirk? Did you ever talk about Charlie Kirk?
I personally had never heard him talk about Charlie Kirk before specifically.
Wow.
Okay. How about political issues? So did you ever talk about gender identity issues? And
So he wants to assassinate Charlie Kirk for like a year, and he never mentions the name once.
LGBTQ rights.
No, not really. Usually if he did talk about politics stuff, it was relating to Trump or current like policies being like issued or voted on, I think. But yeah.
Okay, so before that you had them.
For a short time.
Okay. And I understand you're going by the internet at some point.
To some people, yeah, but not as everyone.
The ghost is really good because he's immune to physical. The only thing it does is he dies. So for 25 seconds he tanks. I can make a summon ghost spell that lasts longer than 20 seconds, and I can make it like a Beastmaster spell that lasts like 3,600 seconds if I just spend a lot of gold. And eventually I could just put out a ghost forever that just tanks all things immune to physical. Wow, look at that. Fucking beautiful. I like this game more than Skyrim, definitely. But only because they made the settings a little better. Oh, and the combat.
I think that's all the questions I have for this portion. Let me check and see if I've missed anything. The drum roll that you talked about, you said you had asked for that, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And had he told you that you experienced that bullet?
Yeah.
And, so did you have a drum roll then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was in our, like, our apartment, we had a section where we kept all our, like, random tools for household stuff, in our, like, lower basement level pantry. So, yeah.
Okay. And did you give that to him or tell him where it was?
I just told him where it was, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end the recording for the 1102 purposes.
Just a quick version of what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be looking at the video of Lance to Charlie Kirk. I am sorry to involve you. And Lance writes, left in there so we can talk about it, just to shorten it, anything that the prosecution needs him to. When a witness gladly jumps in and says absolutely anything the prosecutor needed or whatever side, it makes it more difficult, actually, ironically, for people to believe that person. But when there are some things that are maybe not even as important where they say, yeah, I don't really know about that. I'm not sure. Could be, very possibly, but I'm not going to say 100%. That gives the jury a comfort level that the person has some limits and isn't just saying whatever it is they think there's the other side or the side there.
I'm going to switch this up and put my summon on 2. Oh boy, this is a big place, huh? Oh wow, yes it is. I wasn't really looking to come here to fight. I was on my way to the Mage Hall. Oblivion Remaster. How do I unlock the Mage Tower? I don't remember. Frames are better outside now. Look, you can see the snow on the robe. Looks good. The snow up here, like, gathers on the robe. Looks so good. I like the way she runs. She looks like she really wants to run. I wish she had a tail like Skyrim.
You're associated with wants to hear. So I think it's actually really important because he didn't jump in wholeheartedly. I think that makes him more credible, and it means the defense has to really sit up and take notice. The jury will be more likely to believe him because he's careful.
Oh, they do look like Tyler Robinson.
And you talked about that with your friends, right? This like him.
Yeah, his friends. Yeah, I don't know if I talked. I don't remember if I talked about it with any of my friends. And then since I didn't have my phone after that for a while, and I still am not using social media, I don't know on my friends' end.
Probably very wise that he's not using social media.
We've talked about September 10th, but let me get a little bit of context here. So, did you game with Tyler?
Yeah.
What kind of games?
We played some just kind of party games together, like anything that would be multiplayer with a group of friends. There was one game he really liked called Sea of Thieves, where you play as like a pirate, and you can fight against people, but most of it's just like fishing, fighting sharks, skeletons, kind of stuff. We played some co-op games where it's like you both have to work together to win in whatever way. Way back when I was just out of high school, when I first knew him online, we played some like shooting games together, but I didn't know him very well, so that was just when we had like a whole friend group on to play, and he was someone that my friends invited.
Okay.
I was a little confused about exactly why the prosecutor went into this. I wasn't really sure why it was important. He had a relatively short interview with one of the most important witnesses of the whole case, and this was part of what he went into. I couldn't imagine that he was trying to argue.
She doesn't know, but I do. And I'm better than her, maybe. I'm not better at the law, I'm just better at this than her. The lawyer is trying to establish that these people they weren't incels, they were trans and they were sexually active, but they were trans and sexually active probably because they were incels. And he's trying to paint, I know because I'm a gamer and they all try and do this, it's the most standard complaint they all try to make, is that you're a right-wing incel online who plays video games and never leaves the house and has anger issues, often armed, often destructive, etc. And so the video games, it fits the whole narrative of online, right-wing, pipeline, incel, loser.
That Charlie, that
And that's why he brings up the video games, because it is part of it. They're like they've seen a whole rash of cases recently where a shooter or an assassin or any of that stuff, ooh, I got a level off that too, they'll play a lot of video games. Like from this started with the Columbine kids, but it's stretched out to so many crazy killers now that they know that killers like video games for whatever reason. So that's why he's asking. It's all to get a fucking feel. Or well, it's really it's to establish probable cause in a murder case. And so he is trying to paint him as this unhinged, terminally online video game playing, despot, or not despot, but what am I thinking of? Like an ingrate who kills people. And that's why they always bring up the video games. They always bring up the video games in every court case. If the killer played video games at all, they bring it up and they ask about who they played with and what kind of games and etc. etc. They want to know if you're playing like Manhunt on the PlayStation 2 still 25 years later. They want to know if you were at the Madden shooting for some reason, or maybe you play too much Grand Theft Auto and you've got like a cult on Grand Theft Auto RP, or maybe I don't know, maybe you're a Rust player, who knows, but it's just like crazy. It's like that. That's why they ask. They want to paint him as this terminally online incel loser that does nothing but plays video games and tries to get through school or work so they can get back to playing video games. And they know that these alt-right pipeline nuts, they love their discords and they use them to plan murders and send bomb threats to people and sell CSAM and the grift and all the stuff that the alt-right does. And so they try and paint it to the public that you're like a loser gamer that never leaves the house, that's unhappy and unhinged and has a gripe with the world or whatever it is. And they want to paint him as that because then it's for the jury. The jury is there listening to the lawyer ask the questions. If the lawyer paints these kids as these like terminally online losers who play video games all day, it probably really, really, really ups his chance of a conviction. I mean, that's going to be my guess. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. I might be totally wrong. You'd have to ask the fucking lawyer. But I mean, he's trying to establish probable cause as to why this terrible murder happened. And he thinks that maybe being online and terminally, online and being like gaming all the time might be part of it, because we've seen this in manifestos and killers before. Even Luigi sounds like a video game character, and the only reason I bring that up is because that's what the lawyer would probably say at the cigar bar the night before the fucking testimony or whatever, right? The lawyers at the cigar bar having a snifter of brandy and kind of scared about the next day, and he's thinking it through, and he's talking to some lawyer cohort or his wife or something like that, and he mentions like even Luigi sounds like a video game character. All these nuthouse cracky shooters that do school shootings and stuff, they always have video games in their house. And so he's trying to paint a generalist picture of a homicidal, suicidal nut. Or I'm sorry, I don't think did this guy commit suicide or did they catch him? I can't remember. Did the Charlie Kirk killer kill himself? Did Tyler Robinson get convicted? Get arrested, or did he kill himself? Oh no, he is. No, he's alive. Yeah, he's still alive. So yeah, they're doing all they can to paint in the jury's mind and in the judge's mind that this is all the actions of some unhinged, homicidal video game player like the Columbine kids, and trust me, they'll even say it in their rebuttal or their closing remarks, right? They'll be like, just like the Columbine kids who played too much video games and were sexually confused and were angry and resentful towards the world, this is exactly how Tyler Robinson's prototype was as well. And we've seen these nutty incel right-wing cocksucker loser fucking mass shooters online all the time, and they leave these manifestos and they play too much video games. And that's why I asked about video games earlier in the trial, is I wanted the jury to know that this guy fits all of the warning signs of a nutty right-wing shooter. I mean, it happens, just like the Columbine kids, just like Century 16, just like Sandy Hook or Uvalde. It's always some, usually maybe not right wing, but if they're brandishing firearms, usually they're gonna be right wing. I'm sorry, but it is sort of like that. So yeah, and so there is an incel online pipeline culture, idiot retard fucking Rust players and CS:GO players like the piece of shit Stream Sniper that's been fucking with me for 5 years and shit. There is a cell of fucking born losers like that are just fucking totally poisoned to their fucking souls or whatever it is, and often they're trans. And I'm not trying to talk shit about trans. I'm just saying often they're trans, like statistically. I'm not, honestly, it's insult to trans people. The piece of shit here is the shooter, not trans people. Trans people are totally fine. Trans are good, totally just normal people, absolutely fine. The whole thing is it's just like, but a bunch of the people from this alt-right pipeline online, the incel culture and stuff, they end up being furries and trans and all this stuff. And not to say those things are bad, it just statistically is true. So he's going to ask questions like that. He's going to be like, did he play video games? What kind of violent movies did he watch? All this other stuff. He's going to ask questions like that because it paints him as this unsympathetic assassin to the jury, and that's how you slam dunk convictions. Now remember, the state and the feds, and this is something that I, as a basically career criminal, I wasn't a career criminal, but I mean, I've done a lot of crime in my lifetime, and I came to understand as a criminal, the feds, and I've been in enough courts to know, I've been to court like fucking 100 times or something like that, and I mean this. Tyler. The feds and the cops, they don't ever push a case unless not the cops, but the feds don't ever push a case, and usually local cops won't either, unless they feel that it's like a 90% chance to slam dunk that case. They just won't waste the time. They've got oversight, and the oversight will yell at them and cut their budgets if they spend all the taxpayers' time chasing convictions that they can't land. And then you'll see all this in police procedurals like LA Law or Law and Order, or I don't know, NCIS and stuff like that. The rank and file has a whole bunch of people that they must answer to. That's the police and the district attorneys and stuff. They've all got bosses. Like I forget what the boss for the police is. It's of course commissioner, but there's ones under that like chief deputy, major deputy, and all this other stuff. There's all these other crazy people like rank and file names, or sorry, ranks. But I don't know really where I'm going with this. It's just like, it's crazy. Like a good prosecutor, they're gonna ask questions like, did he play video games? Is he terminally online? Is he angry? Does he watch aliens films like Mario Vassar films and all this stuff? I'm guilty of almost all of this stuff, but the problem is I come from a peaceful flower power culture. I wouldn't say leftist, but just sort of like free religion community, freedom of speech community in Denver called Shiva Mandir. And Shiva Mandir, and all the people around it in my school and in Waldorf school and all this stuff, they taught us peace. Because I'm a peaceful man. I would never draw an arms against somebody, but I have all the predilections of the Columbine kids. All of my friends do. All of my friends have the predilections of the Columbine kids. Even their female siblings do. It's kind of crazy. We all had predilections like that. We all played risky, racy video games on like Doom levels and stuff like that. We all watched Tatsei and fucking Steak and Cheese and shit and Faces of Death and all that stuff way early, way young. We all were angry like that. We were metalheads like that. We dressed in black like that. Some of us had fucking trench coats like that. And we lived 5 miles away from the Columbine kids. I mean 5 miles, not even 5 miles. It's like from Littleton to where we lived is maybe, it's like 5 miles if as the crow flies. It's like maybe 7 if you have to do some turns, but it's like 5 miles as the crow flies to where to Cherry Creek High School where that happened. It's like 5 miles to my old house's door, from my door to Cherry Creek. That's no mistake that the Columbine kids happened, because it wasn't just them. It was an entire goddamn generation of angry, Tool listening, metalhead, over alcohol abusing, over drug abusing, cigarette smoking, shoplifting, angry, maladjusted, middle of the road, middle class, non-bougie but not rich, privilege is the word I'm looking for. Privileged white kids from the burbs. And my friends from Centennial, they were all punker leftist types that didn't believe in this sort of shit. And we were from the inner city. Well, it's not inner city, but like a city artist neighborhood called Platt Park, where it's all artists and hippies. It's hippies and artists, all the people in that area, and they all have they all own sushi restaurants and stuff like that, or art concerns or galleries all up and down Santa Fe and stuff. So our communities just were not right wing. They were not Christian, full blown. Like my friends, they worship Hindu gods. They don't worship Christian gods. My entire circle, they all worship Hindu gods except for me. I believe I'm intelligent enough to understand that when you die, you're dead, and there's no deity's hands to hold you. I just don't believe in it. I don't think life is that easy. I just don't think it is.
Robinson.
So I'm gonna get out and play some Fortnite now. And so all my friends were like the Columbine kids. They didn't do some of the nastier shit that the Columbine kids did, but we messed with pipe bombs. We messed with rocket engines. We messed with fire. We lit dumpsters on fire and stuff like this. We messed with firearms. We hunted in the woods and all that stuff that, we weren't right wing. We were just right leaning. Like later on, my best friend went through kind of an identity thing because he was a spiritual guru in a church. He had lost his guru, Sri Kaleshwar, but Sri Kaleshwar chose him to be his his disciple and stuff, his main guy to teach, which is insane. Because he was a white boy from Denver, but Sri Kaleshwar was running an ashram in India that was 30,000 strong, and he passed away young because he had a lot of stress on his heart because he didn't ever sleep. He would just meditate all the time, which was very sad, and it wrecked my best friend and all of his friends' lives. But I mean, this is an example of they worship like Hindu gods. They know more about Kali and fucking like Brahman and, you know, I don't know, Lakshmi or Shiva than they do about like, you know, God or Jesus. They're just not like that. And so you couldn't say that we're Christian. We're not Christo-fascist. We're not alt-right leaning. Other than we like guns. Everybody I know likes guns. It's kind of crazy. It's the only the only right-wing leaning thing that any of my friends do is they all own firearms. It's the only thing. All the rest of it, they're pot-smoking hippies. They've never ever harmed anybody. The only thing they've ever killed is like deer and boar. They're you know, and they hunt in the mountains a lot, or fish, that kind of thing. But they don't ever kill anything. They don't ever hurt anything. They don't ever they don't ever go out of their way to harm anybody or hurt society or anything like that. And they're very careful about that sort of thing. And they also went through all kinds of revolutions, like a drug revolution and a music revolution and a spiritual revolution and a mental revolution, and so did I. So, you know, but remember, we're still like these Korn listening, Slipknot listening, Tool listening metalheads who like KMFDM and fucking Skinny Puppy and Nine Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson and all that crazy shit. We've messed with pipe bombs. We messed with guns. We're angry like that. We would never kill anybody, but we're all angry like that. We're angry like those guys because life sort of sucked in Denver coming up, sort of. It was like 9/11 into fucking COVID, you know, it fucking sucked. It sort of sucked. And so a lot of my friends are, well, I'm not, my closest friends in my inner circle are not angry, but everybody else I know is. Everybody from my high school is fucking angry. Everybody from every other high school that I knew is angry. But my inner circle, they prefer peace, so they don't live in anger. And I don't either. So, but that's an example. But I have the predilections. We even mess with the same crazy doom levels that they did. We mess with the same sort of racist overtones that they did, just trying to see why the F8 blank word and the N word were being used when we were a kid and stuff. And you would hear it on South Park, or you would hear it on like Boondocks and stuff. And we had all the stuff. We had all the stuff that the right wing is usually guilty of. We were terminally online. We were gamers. All that stuff. And that's why the lawyer asked the question. That's originally why we got off on this, is if you can paint the guy as one of these online manifesto writing psychotic assassin mass killer types who's not worth anything because he just listens to metal all day, demeans women, in this case it was like a trans woman, and you know, it's so angry that they just bottle up and explode one day. Instead of like getting an ulcer like the rest of us, they go and get an AR-15. And I hate them. Now, is this guy guilty of that? A lot of people think he isn't. So I'm just going to be like, a lot of people think he isn't. A lot of people think this guy is not guilty of this. They think it's some CIA plant having to do with fucking Epstein and all this CIA bullshit with Mossad or something like that. And it is that crazy. There is CIA connections to this guy. It's fucking crazy, I believe. At least that's what I remember hearing. Or was it Charlie Kirk himself? I don't remember. It's like, but one of these people in this case has an affiliation to Mossad, and they think it's an inside job, and it probably is. It looks too weird and easy to not be an inside job. And so, yeah, the video game question, I hate it because the truth is they've done study after study after study after study after study after study. And I wrote a thing about this on Rockstar's forums recently. I told them, don't be selling fucking Grand Theft Auto 6 to kids on my fucking watch. I'll torch your company and I'll never ever let you live it down. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. Don't be splitting the launches between different consoles, because then we double dip, and that's like we pay you twice for an already overinflated game. And then I was like, since fucking Grand Theft Auto 1, you have been marketing to kids, and they stopped you from doing that since Grand Theft Auto 3. I know, because I sold Grand Theft Auto 3 myself in the GameStop the day it came out. I sold a whole bunch of copies of Grand Theft Auto 3, and I had to card every last kid, and none of them had ID. I had to bounce so many people, none of them could buy the game. They had to all go get their parents. They were so pissed. They had to go get their parents to buy Grand Theft Auto, and they didn't want their parents to know they were buying Grand Theft Auto. And it was weird being the game store employee, because I saw that firsthand. So I was like, well, good, they enforce it, right? So it was like that for 15 years. They enforced that, but then the PlayStation, well, really, no, since the Xbox 360, you could, if you had a big enough hard drive, you could just download, Grand Theft Auto 4 to the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3, and you could just, you could download Grand Theft Auto 4. I don't think you could buy it on the, maybe you could. You could probably buy it on the store, honestly, if you had a big enough hard drive. But back then, nobody had a terabyte hard drives. So 150 gigabyte game like Grand Theft Auto 4 is, really big deal on the console, because that like eats up most of, if not all, your drive. But I believe it was possible to buy Grand Theft Auto 4 in the store. When the kids found that out, they just started doing that. Then when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, it was on the PlayStation 4 store and the Xbox One store. And even the Xbox 360 store, if you recall, Grand Theft Auto 5 first came out on the fucking 360, and it was available on the store. And that's my fucking my current complaint with Rockstar, and why I'm gonna boycott Grand Theft Auto 6. But we'll see if they improve by the time that the actual copy comes out on PC. I've jumped my gun on that. But I threatened to boycott. No, I didn't threaten. I was like, I'm boycotting this game. I'm not buying it because you've been selling it to kids, and they've been shooting up schools. They've traced a whole bunch of mass murders to Grand Theft Auto, and that makes Grand Theft Auto 6 kind of problematic. When all the kids in the world own a console of some sort, whether it's Sony PS5 or Xbox One X, S, or whatever the fuck it is, like all the kids in the world own a console. So they don't have to go to the GameStop anymore. And I wrote a thing on Rockstar's forums on Reddit about this. Like, the Rockstar has a set of forums on Reddit, and I wrote a thing, and I got a bunch of responses about this. Because we don't want these kids buying Grand Theft Auto 6 on the fucking digital store. I attacked them about that. I was like, if you sell Grand Theft Auto 6 on the digital store, it's like you work for Satan. And I literally, in the fucking thing on the forums I wrote, I was like, get back to hell, Satan demon. That's what I said. I was like, back to hell with you, Satan. Because it's like, you are selling, like, basically what is the equivalent of drugs, sex, and porn. Drugs, porn, and violence to kids through an online gaming store. And it's not just Rockstar, it's also Sony and fucking and Xbox are complicit. And so I made out all these points, and people attack me, but I mean, I mean what I say, kind of. Like, it has led to stuff like the Chuck E. Cheese murders. It led to Columbine. It was a factor in Columbine and all this. Now, and where I'm going with this is people are going to say that, that if people play video games, then they're far more likely to be some alt-right pipeline fucking assassin nut like Theodore Kaczynski or whatever. But no, it's actually been proven, and like scientifically, that there is no causal correlation between violence and video games. It's actually quite the opposite. Video games make you want to sit inside and not go hurt people. It's literally, the studies came back and they were like, believe it or not, it's about as simple as it actually sounds. When people play video games, they pretty much have to sit down with a Game Boy in their hands, or a cell phone, or a controller, or a keyboard and a mouse in front of a monitor somewhere, and they don't put their focus usually anywhere else unless they're forced to. It's quite actually the opposite. Video games causally prevent violence, believe it or not. They actually do. Now, we've had some nasty shit like the Madden murders, the Madden tourney murder, and all that stuff. We've had nasty stuff. We've had Grand Theft Auto clones that like try to be Grand Theft Auto in the real world and all this. In other countries even. It's not just America or even Britain. It's just like all over the world. There's been the copycat Rockstar Grand Theft Auto killers that just want to make their life like the video game. And so I'm not saying don't sell Grand Theft Auto. I'm not saying boycott Grand Theft Auto. I'm saying the leadership, and I said all this in the fucking post. I was like, the leadership at Rockstar is sorely lacking. And not only that, they've become morally bankrupt. And I will not support them any longer. It's, it's just kind of crazy. It's like, now we'll see when we'll see if when 2028 comes around and Grand Theft Auto 6 finally reaches PC, and all the console kids that are either still playing it because they're like online, or they've beaten the single player and they've moved on, right? And that's insane. And there's so many bad choices that they made. They split the consoles and the PC. So then I'm supposed to double dip. I'm supposed to go buy a PlayStation and buy Grand Theft Auto 6 and play it for 2 years on a PlayStation. But I'm a PC streamer. I'm streaming 3 games on the PC right now as we speak. I'm not a fucking console gamer. So I was like, how dare you treat me? I've been buying every game that they've ever done, multiple copies since Grand Theft Auto 1. I bought all the manhunts and all the crazy shit that they did, the state of emergency and all the side stuff that they did, Bully and all that shit. I bought 3 copies of Bully. I've been supporting Rockstar since they were fucking a little fucking glint in my eye. You know what I'm saying? Since Grand Theft Auto 1, I've been buying Rockstar fucking games. I have. Since the PC, I've been buying Grand Theft Auto 1. I bought Grand Theft Auto 2 on the Dreamcast for $40 like 3 times or something because I kept breaking my copy. I played it so much. I love Grand Theft Auto and I've been supporting Rockstar forever and shit, but at this point, right now today, where they announced that they split the consoles and they were doing separate releases and that online wouldn't be there right away and the PC wouldn't get to online for another 2 years, but console gets to play, and I finally tripped up and I got to where I was able to say, I'm going to boycott you, and here's why, right? They are selling to children through an online store to skirt the ID verification process. This is illegal on so many different levels that they will lose their company. And I said, I don't want my favorite company to lose their company. They've got good lawyers, but not for this. If they're ever caught selling this to children, and they do sell to children all goddamn damn. Steam sells it to children. They all sell to children, and it does warp their little minds. It's probably the first time any of them, it was for me, the first time I ever saw sex depicted was a prostitute in Grand Theft Auto 3. And I mean, that's how a lot of people are, that's what a lot of gamers are going to tell you. Now, am I saying that's bad? No, it's bad that I got my hands on it that young. They're slinging it on online stores where there is no ID verification, or they can skirt it or get around it. They do that for Roblox all the time. Like, they use AI to get around fucking, problems like this. So they're not going to, they're going to play the game. They're going to play this game. You can't stop them. But it's like Rockstar did not handle themselves very well. I'm scared I'm going to stay on Grand Theft Auto 5 Enhanced and just stay there. Because it's like, because I don't think they've been handling this very well. I don't like the fact that they chose Florida. I think it's incredibly insulting to Florida, but oh well. It also seems like you just did Vice City not that long ago, like 12 years ago. Why are we back in Florida again? Shouldn't you do something new like Austin or, I don't know, even fucking, how about Chicago? Chicago would be a good city. Whatever. I'm done talking about this. It's just, that's why they ask about video games. They're like, there's a correlation between violence and mass shooters and video games. But the problem is there isn't. It's actually quite the opposite. Like, most times video games make the shooters so lazy they don't go do anything. And then they go shoot people in the video game and they realize that that's a lot better. And they don't go do anything at all. And that's quite the honest truth. Video games don't add your desire to go do something in the real world. They take away from your desire to go do something in the real world. Even nasty stuff like mass killing, it doesn't matter. The video games sap your will to want to go do stuff like that. You'd way rather play COD or something, or CSGO 2. And that's the God's honest truth about violence in video games. It's actually one of the more peaceful causing forces on the planet. Just like drugs. They say drugs causes violence. Yeah, if you build a black market and you get the cartels shooting at each other and you pump the dope full of garbage so they kill themselves on fucking fentanyl. Yeah, drugs cause violence, but the real reality is, to most drugs, from marijuana to everything, but basically cocaine and speed are the bad ones that you should really stay away from, because they're uppers and they get you riled up, right? But from heroin to Valium to marijuana to alcohol, they're all downers, right? And they don't cause people to go do stuff. They stop people from doing anything, including violence. And so this thing about drugs causes inherent violence. No, drugs cause you to sit in your fucking living room and nod the fuck out. Most drugs, that's what they do. From alcohol to marijuana to heroin to fentanyl to Valium to fucking any downer. You know what I'm saying? Most downers are fine. All they get you to do is sit against the wall and wait for your high to wear off. And that's the God's honest truth. I don't like that they say that video games cause violence like this lawyer tried to do. And I don't like when they say that drugs cause violence. Nope. My two favorite things in the world besides women, right? You know what I'm saying? Women is my favorite thing. Women are my favorite thing in the world. But like right after that is drugs and video games. And really, two of those three things will not get you going out your front door. Drugs and video games, they have you staying in your front door and not going out it. And that's the God's honest truth. But they try to paint, ever since Columbine kids, they've tried to paint like basically Call of Duty and Marilyn Manson as being the reason that the Columbine kids did what they did. But no, I'll tell you what it is. It's overpopulation. There's 8 billion people on the fucking planet. These middle class parents, they can't afford to raise these kids, so they work. They work. You know, they both work. They're like absentee parents half the time, and that's what it was. It was just pure negligence led to these kids getting into some tiff with a bunch of kids in school, declaring war against the cliques and going and taking them out, which is just crazy. It's fucking crazy. Where were the parents? Where were the parents at? And look where it's at. Even Marshall Mathers said something about this. He was like, look where the parents at, and look where it's at. Middle America now, who's, and all this stuff. And even Marshall spoke on this when it happened, right when it happened, like a couple of months. He put it on the album, the second big album he did. And, on the song Way I Am, he just talked about all this, and they blame it on Marilyn and the heroin. Where were the parents at? And look where it's at, and it's like, too bad you do-gooders couldn't do good at parenting, and all this shit. So that's how I feel about this. And that's, if you wonder why the lawyer brought up video games, it's weird that this other lawyer doesn't know it. It's because since the Columbine kids, they've been trying to draw some causal link, is the language that scientists always use. Causal link between violence and video games. There is none. There's a causal link to you sitting on your ass in your living room and doing nothing. But there's not really a causal link to video games causing violence, and neither is there drugs. That's all stuff that drug dealers do. Drugs themselves will not cause you to be violent, usually, unless it's an upper, like cocaine or methamphetamine or too much tequila or that kind of thing. But overall, most drugs, they cause you to sit in your fucking living room, just like video games, and do nothing. They don't cause you to do violence. They don't cause you to be incel. They don't cause you to do anything. They're just sitting in your living room doing nothing. And they get a lot of blame, video games. I'm going to get off this. I don't care about fucking... All this stuff is right-wing, red pill coded. I don't give a flying fuck about stupid-ass Charlie Kirk. He can suck a dick in the fucking grave for all I care. He rolled with the fucking Nazis. You fuck around and find out. You roll with Nazis, you get shot in the throat like a fucking Nazi. Fuck around and find out then. I'm sorry. I know it's non-sympathetic and it's way past when it's cool to make fun of him after he's dead, but I don't like fucking Nazis, and I'll fucking make fun of them whether they're dead or not. Fuck Nazis and fuck Charlie Kirk. And fuck the fucking guy who shot him. They're all Nazis. If they're brandishing arms against their own fellow Americans, they're all fucking right-wing, piece of shit, red pill-coated fucking Nazis. They're all like that. Just saying. So now he's getting his case, and we're about to do the whole Johnny Depp, Amber Heard thing while the country tears itself apart about whether or not this was a false flag scenario, which is just crazy. Yes, Donald Trump did fucking rape children on the Lolita Express. That's where he met Melania. Yes, fucking Bill Gates raped children on the Lolita Express. That's how he lost Microsoft and why he donated 95% of all those billions he made. The right wing suborn perjury and election fraud and bought the election with the Bitcoin bros the day of the 2026 election. 2026 election. And yes, all this stuff happened. I'm sorry. It is happening. It sucks. And so this whole thing about, oh, we're gonna sit back with popcorn and watch it like Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Yeah, no, we already have known this stuff for a long time. Ooh, Kitty. You know, I actually had a friend who knew Kitty in Denver. They were a big band in Denver, actually. They're the Female Corn. They were actually so cool. Let's watch the Kitty episode. It'll be a lot better than fucking Charlie's stupid ass fucking anti-trans fucking Kirk.
Most aggressive band to come out of the new metal era wasn't a bunch of guys from California, but a group of teenage girls from Canada who were too young to drive. They got a gold record while they were still in high school, got sued for nearly $1 million by their own label, had to deal with roadies literally checking their
would the
amps
labels
to
sue
prove
a
that they were
band?
not faking it.
Should be the other way around.
Here's how 4 girls turned a gym class into a middle finger to the entire music industry.
I love Kitty.
London, Ontario. You got Mercedes Lander on the drums, Fallon Bowman
They
on
were so hot.
guitar, and they're kids. They meet in gym class. It's 1996, and most kids at that age are worrying about, well, whatever it is they worry about. But these two are more into actually starting a metal band. A few months later, Mercedes' older sister, Morgan, jumps on the vocals and guitar, and by late 97, Tanya Candler is on bass, and they call themselves Kitty. Why? Because they thought it sounded contradictory. A cute name for a band that wants to rip your head off. It's perfect. They're playing these local dives, grinding it out. And they approach this guy, Jason Weiner, at NT Records. He checks them out live, and his jaw hits the floor. Signs them immediately. And they record their debut album, Spit, in 99. And the kicker, they recorded it in 9 days. Literally just going to the studio after school. So yeah, there was...
If you're
school
good, that's what
involved
you
as
do.
well, taking up a lot of that time. And
You ain't got no time to sit in a fucking recording studio. You're all working 9 to 5s to try and pay for your life while you like try to be in a band and all that. You don't have time to sit there and record an album. Get in and get out.
yet they still cut it in 9 days.
That's shit that big ass bands like Korn do for a year. That's not something garage bands do.
Most bands take months to tweak a snare drum sound. These girls just blasted it out. And the sound? Nasty. Nu metal, before nu metal became a joke about red hats and rap rock. Morgan screaming her lungs out. Mercedes
she was such a good
bashing the
singer.
crap out of the drums. And the thing just clicked. Label gets bought by Artemis Records, who re-released Spit in early 2000. And Tanya bails right before the re-release, and Talina Atfield steps in on the bass. The album does great. It sells over 600,000 copies in the US alone. I mean, remember, they're not doing pop, so it's some pretty damn good sales. Goes gold. Touring with Slipknot. They're on Ozfest 2000. First female band to ever play Ozfest. 15, 16 years old, standing on stage next to Slayer and Ozzy, watching thousands of people lose their minds. Fairy tale, right? Nope. Because remember, folks, this is the music industry. And I,
Nothing
being
ever
Guitar
good
Meets
happens.
Science on YouTube, definitely have done enough of these on the industry to know that it's not
Nothing
all
ever-
unicorns and rainbows.
nothing ever
and just like
happens
in every
good
other
when the
case, if
label's
something good
involved.
happens, something is usually waiting around the corner to crap all over it.
Yep. That's the
But
business.
here's where the brain starts hurting. Because while they're selling...
Like right now, I'm sitting with 2 out of 3 strikes on my YouTube channel, and I could lose 4,000 videos, and I don't believe I've done any copyright infringement. So I just sit there in a limbo for another 40 days or something like that and pray one of these videos doesn't copyright me, because it's just like, at that point, I'm sorry for watching YouTube on YouTube. You know, that's like what this is.
selling records and winning Metal Edge awards, the world decided that what Kitty was
I have a non-monetized... My channel is not monetized. I'm not trying to steal from you, sir. I was trying to show people news about ESO for free.
doing was impossible. 'Cause in the late 90s, early 2000s, the girl band Archetype was more Spice Girls, Britney Spears,
Yeah.
pop. Yes, there were many that came before that were awesome. The Runaways, Cycle Slots from Hell, Girl School. But for the most part, it was still a pretty hard road to go down. Here comes Kitty, looking like they just crawled out of a graveyard, playing music that made grown dudes uncomfortable. And the music industry just couldn't really compute. They get interviewed, and the questions are like, what's it like to be in a female band? Who writes your songs? Do you really play your instruments? Like the press was just
What?
waiting for the puppet master to walk out from behind the curtain. We're not talking just the press, also the bands they toured with, the crew. Mercedes remembers being on tour and having a guy from a band called The Warriors come up to her and ask, "Are you actually singing those backup vocals or is that on tape?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm singing along with my sister, yeah." And they get the rumor mill, people whispering about that their guitar tech, dude named Bungie, was playing all the guitar parts on the album.
Oh,
or that
bullshit.
the songs are written by their dad, or that they brought in session musicians. Because obviously, teenage girls can't write heavy riffs. That's preposterous.
What?
Accused of a PBF
No, this is that sexism.
situation. And he got so
The right wing.
bad that people would stand on the side of the stage, not to watch the show, but to stare at the amps, looking for wires, looking for a hidden dude behind the amps. Pretty funny, actually. Imagine playing a show, pouring your heart out.
With like trying to lip sync. I don't think that works. Look at what happened to Milli Vanilli.
Some dude in a crew t-shirt squinting at your Marshall stack to see if it's even plugged in.
Oh
Meanwhile,
my
Morgan
God.
said she's seen dude bands on stage with empty boxes just to look cool.
Yep.
Yeah, somehow they were the fakes and the execs, and they were the worst. They sit these girls down in meetings and say, "We could get you an image consultant. We can get you a songwriter." It's like they just wanted to play dress up with them. Malleable. That's the word that Morgan used. They wanted to capitalize on the looks, shooting for them to be more on the sexy side because, you know, that sells. Problem was, Kitty did not want to be sexy. They wanted to be heavy, damn it. So when it came time for the second
They want to
album,
be heavy, damn it.
they looked at each other and said, "Okay, you want to know if we play our instruments? Watch this." So they made the next record so damn extreme, technical,
I
heavy,
love this album.
nobody could ever question their ability again. 2001 rolls around.
Fuck Kitty was hard.
They go in the studio and make Oracle. Right before they start recording, Fallon Ballman, the guitarist who co-founded the band, a gym class, is just out, quits, walks away. Creative differences, pressure, whatever, she's gone. Most bands, maybe they might delay the record, but Morgan's like, "Well, hand me the other guitar." Records all the guitar tracks on Oracle herself, every riff, while singing lead. And the album comes out and it's a beast. No more new metal rapping or radio-friendly choruses. Basically thrash, death metal. They're listening Cannibal Corpse, Nile
I
Now.
love Cannibal Core. If you can do Cannibal Core, you can do anybody.
They wanted to take out the whole girl band
Veil of Maya.
narrative with a bunch
Veil of Maya is fucking dark.
to sheer in-your-face volume.
I
While
love Veil of
music's
Maya.
getting heavier, the business side is turning into a total dumpster fire. Remember Artemis Records, the label that released Spit? Well, they stopped paying them. By 2003, Kitty and their producer, Garth Richardson, have to sue the label. It's not a small dispute either. Unpaid royalties totaling $900,000. A lot of lunch money for high schoolers. They accuse the band of 11 breaches of contract. The label was supposed to promote them, pay them, act like a partner. Instead, they basically acted like a loan shark. So while the lawsuit drags on, settles out of court in 2004, the band's falling apart. 2002, Talena Abfield, the bassist, quits the band. Jennifer Arroyo joins 2 days later. Then they add Lisa Marks on guitar, like Spinal Tap, but with higher stakes and smaller paycheck. And they released Until the End in 2004. Heavy, groovy, but without the label support, with all the internal craziness going on, it doesn't move the needle the way Spit did. That stalling momentum is like the worst friggin' thing. And of course, the money's gone. And by 2005, Morgan has to tell the world that both Lisa and Jennifer are leaving the band. Why? Financial difficulty. They cannot afford to keep the band on the road because the label's not paying them what they're owed. They're literally too poor to be rock stars. Artemis and the band were fighting over a new budget. Finally, March 2005, Kitty just says, "We're done." They part ways with the label. Talk about a bad day. You're in this big metal band, sold a ton of records, and you're broke because the label stole your money. And that, folks, is the music business. So what do you do when they chew you up and spit you out? Well, then you start your own label. That's what Morgan and Mercedes do. Bring in guitarist Tara McLeod and bassist Trish Doan. Start a clothing line called Poison Black Clothing. Launch a record label. First they call it Kiss of Infamy. Put out their album Funeral for Yesterday on it. And then they get a cease and desist letter from none other than the lawyers for the band Kiss. Gene Simmons apparently owns the word Kiss in every possible configuration. So they have to change the label name to X of Infamy. Remove the Kiss, put an X, screw you, Gene. And they keep on grinding. They tour. They released In the Black, 2009. Get a video on MTV's Headbangers Ball, which in 2009 is like
Fuck was that, man? Like that guy, he just like shot me twice. I was like, I don't have a shotgun. I've lost this. And it was like, okay.
being the last
You gave him the advantage.
Person at a party that ended 3 hours ago. Land a song on the Saw 6 soundtrack, but fatigue is setting in. Not just the label drama anymore, it's real life. 2008, the dad, David Lander, who's also the manager, dies of a heart attack. It's a heavy blow. With worse, the lineup shifts. Ivy Vujic replaces Trish on the bass because Trish is struggling with a severe eating disorder, anorexia. She's sick. They released I Failed You in 2011. Title's pretty ironic considering how much they've actually accomplished, but it's definitely a sign of the times. Touring costs are skyrocketing. The band is friggin' tired. Gas prices go up. Venue guarantees go down. Playing shows to diminishing crowds. Feel like they've overstayed their welcome. In 2013, they make a choice. They don't break up officially. They just stop. Go on indefinite hiatus. Morgan goes back to school. Mercedes gets a normal job, and they try to be civilians. It's over. At least so they think. Now here's the part where the story gets really dark. Thought the label lawsuits were bad. 2017, Trish Doan, the bassist who had to leave the band years earlier because of her eating disorder, died. 31 years old. The cause was never publicly verified. She had moved to Australia, struggling with issues. Weight of the world just got too heavy. Rocks the metal community, but it absolutely shatters Morgan and Mercedes. And she was family by that point. Around this time, they decided they need to tell her story, set the record straight, get some closure. They launched an Indiegogo campaign to fund a documentary and tell-all book. As for $20,000. So the fans give them $40,000 in 8 hours. Turns out people actually did give a damn. They filmed Kitty, Origins, Evolutions, get every past member they can into the room, do a reunion show in London, Ontario in 2017. 3 different lineups on one stage. It's like a funeral and a party at the same time. They released that one in 2018. Morgan's honest with the press. She just doesn't feel right moving forward without Trish. Says it's unlikely they'll reunite unless someone offers them a truckload of money and all the former members could be there. Mercedes agreed. Without Trish, the door's closed. They're resigned to being a legacy act. The band used to be great, but now it's just a memory. They join other bands. Mercedes starts a sludge doom band called White Swan. Morgan joins a melodic death metal band, Carchaos. They're moving on. The Kitty chapter is closed. The book is on the shelf. But of course, the universe has a twisted sense of humor. So it's 2021. The world's basically coming out of a pandemic. Suddenly, something weird happened. New metal is cool again. Not in a buy the CD at Sam Goody kind of way, but it's cool on TikTok. Kids who weren't even born when Spit came out are discovering the band. Bracket starts trending. Poppy, a huge genre-bending pop star, covers a Kitty song. Streams on Spotify start climbing. Then the email inbox starts filling up. Promoters are calling. Hey, want to play Blue Rock Ridge Festival? Hey, how about playing When We Were Young in Vegas? Even Hot Topic calls them up. Like, hey, your merch is selling again. Did you know that? Mercedes and Morgan look at each other. They're in their 40s now. Have day jobs, have lives. They look at the offers and they're like, well, why the hell not? So they ended their hiatus in January 2022. They get back out on that stage. Place is packed. Not just people remembering the old days, but screaming kids who know every word. They go to Vegas for When We Were Young, and Ash Vildson, the guy who runs Sumerian Records, is in the crowd. He sees them, he's like, I need to sign this band. They weren't planning on a new record. They're just going to play a few shows and go back to their jobs. But they get a deal with this label. They get Nick Raskolinix, the guy who produced Foo Fighters and Alice in Chains, to produce the album. This is the guy they wanted to work with back in the day, but could never get. And they go in the studio, not angry teens anymore, more refined angst, as Morgan calls it. Same rage, but it's got 30 years of experience behind it. Not screaming about high school anymore. Now it's just pure survival. In June of 2024, they drop Fire. First album in 13 years. Death metal, new metal, everything that they've ever wrapped into one giant fist in the face to anybody who thought they were done. And then at Proof of Point, 2025, they released Spit 25, re-record their old hits, play them better and faster and heavier, basically saying we were good then, but we're dangerous now. They're headlining again. Legacy of Fire Tour, playing for bigger crowds than they did in 2000. Never faded away or became a trivia question. They survived lawsuits, sexism, tragedy, bad contracts, and now they're standing on top of the pile, lighting a match. Like, subscribe. Thank you.
Get a purple. Damn it. Try again. Keep having bad luck. Like that guy, I really thought I had that guy, but no, he had a purple, just like the other guy had a shotgun. This guy had a purple. I didn't think he'd have a purple. I would have won if he didn't. I also hit him a bunch more times. I don't know how I lost that. Oh, damn it. Stupid water. Ooh. What's up, bitch? Thank you. Oh shit! Oh, oh. Gets me, I'm dead. Damn it! Fucking annoying. Can't see him. Show your face, bitch. What was that? Who's this stuff? What? It was a gold. They always have a better gun than me. Every single time. So annoying. 15th. One bitch will go again. This guy had boots and a gold. Oh, damn it. They always come straight to me. I should just go right straight to them and just kill them. Just jump right on top of them. And he wasted my time, stupid piece of shit. God damn it. I'm having trouble sliding. Got that guy. Splish. Fuck, I missed him. Gotta do better this time. They always come straight for me. It's so annoying. The guy just like shot across the boots and he was down below the tree. I need to just wait. I like that sound the best, I think. Makes a little bit more sense to me than the other town does. Find a gun. Okay, just no. Oh. But first, Coffee 67 is his name. Oh my god. Oh my god, how did I miss? Oh yeah. Thank you. I love this gun. Why did he have two? I think actually the gun's still better. Oh, I don't know. This gun's better. This gun will fuck shit up. This thing still has it. Still going. Ooh, the two-shot sniper. It's good. Wait, did he have two of them? He did. He has two of them. No, it's a gold. It's gold. Six down, 8 up. Oh. Oop, oop. Bye. Come on, some kind of heal. Need some kind of heal. Please, some kind of heal. No idea where this guy went. Did I hear him? Yes, I did. Give me your medcat. It's mine. Pick up for that. Oh. One left. I gotta get armor to kill me. Okay. Wish me luck, guys. One left. Oh, is that him? Nope, that's not him. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can do it. There he is. Fuck, that's kind of annoying. He's elevated. Now I'm just gonna like go for the end zone here. Get higher and then contest, I guess. Can't show him where I'm at, but he'll show. Where is this fucking guy? He was over there. He must be now behind me somewhere. I don't see or hear him. Fuck is this guy? Should have hit him when he was in the air. I'm off today. There he is. There he is. Did he leave? I don't think he left. This is bad for him now. Here it is. Got it! Yeah! Yeah, baby! Good to go to bed on a win! Yeah! Okay, guys, I'm going to bed. It's 3 a.m., 2:54. And I'm going to close Fortnite on a win. Always. Always fun. Always fun. Okay, you've been watching Skycatlive. It has been a 14-hour day. I'm going to log off these clients now, assuming I have my drones. Yep. Okay, quit. Oops. Quit. Oh, quit. I will fire Russ just to have a look around while I title videos. Excuse me. And then, okay, going on up. Now, okay. Maha's gas station heroin. Oh no. Anyways, I have to publish videos, so let's go do that. Get out of my way, bug. Go away from me, bug. Go away from me. I will kill you. Oh, now. Today's video is ending with my station identification. You've been watching Skycatlive. I'm a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Put me on in the background. I do long form and lots of sandboxes and single-player games and such. And I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. Put me on in the background. Man, I got a nasty cut on my chin where I cut myself shaving, and I'm sorry. It's like really ugly. Anyways. So, I love you guys. Thank you so much. And come to skycat.live and come to my Twitch or YouTube and give me a like, sub, or a follow. Click on the cast face to donate. It's a PayPal link. I love you guys. See you later. This recording will end